Hello, everybody, and welcome to Enchanted Chatter. Today, I do not have Bree as my co-host. I have Melissa.
Hello, everybody.
Bree and I both are hitting the anti-duties this week really strong. Tonight, Bree is celebrating her nephew's birthday, and I am actually out in Washington, helping my sister-in-law with my nephew, who is 3 months old. And I have new respect for parents after today.
Totally understandable.
Before we dive in, I figured I should plug my giveaway that I'm giving away. So this past weekend was my birthday. So I decided I earned 2 Mulans at DLC Milwaukee. So I'm going to give one of the 2 away. If you just go out to Instagram, you can find the post and you just have to follow us on Instagram and then like and comment on the post and you get entered.
That is very exciting. I know I was so obviously, as some of you know, I wasn't in Milwaukee, and I was watching one of JDZ's streams like after the fact, and he was doing a giveaway for like an Elsa pin, and he goes, "My rule is you had to have not been there," because he like, I respected what he was doing a ton. He's like, I had the opportunity to be there. A lot of other people did, so like I want to give this to somebody who wasn't there. So like it's always cool to see what people are doing with their doubles or their extras.
Yes, and while anyone is able to enter, my fingers are crossed that the wheel gives us somebody who didn't have a chance to get one or be there, and maybe even if they were there, it was somebody who, missed out on a Mulan by a game win.
Yes.
So speaking of missing Milwaukee, you ran a half marathon, a 10K, and did you do the 5K too?
Oh yes.
So you did the full weekend. So that was Wine and Dine.
Yes, it was Wine and Dine weekend. I knew so signups went up for this back in February. And for those of you who don't know, I was supposed to do Marathon Weekend 2025 in January. But Marathon 2025 overlapped the LCQs and the LCQ weekend. And like one of my goals was that for the year was that like if I didn't qualify through an event, like I was playing in the LCQ and like nothing was stopping me.
Yes.
And for Marathon Weekend, I was only signed up for the 5K. So I made a decision that I was like, okay, I can miss this. It sucks. Like it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I committed to it way before we knew about dates or anything, but conflicts happen, life happens. Like I'm going to miss Marathon Weekend. And that was January.
I definitely understand not missing last chance qualifiers because you were signed up for just the 5K. Because for those watching who are not familiar with RunDisney races, you pay a lot of money to run through the Disney parks. And it is wonderful. But you do pay a lot of money. So I could see why you would be willing to skip only the 5K. But this time when you had signed up for the challenge, so the 5K, 10K, and half,
there was a lot more to it. But like the whole thing was, so like that was January. And then registration in February was for Wine and Dine, which wasn't until October. So I'm like, we don't have DLC schedules. This is my next opportunity because Disney makes you register for things crazy in advance.
So early.
It's Disney. And so I was like, I'm going to do the 5K. Like, that's what I've committed to. Like, I've never done RunDisney. I know I can do a 5K. And a good friend of ours, Michelle, is like a huge RunDisney like marathon fanatic. Like, she does the whole thing. The 5K, the 10K, the half, the full, the dopey. Like, she does everything. And she looked at me and she goes, if you can run a 5K, you can run a 10K. So like you're doing the 10K. And I'm like, all right, fine. You're right. So I said to myself, okay, I'm signing up for the 5K and the 10K. Then I find out the theme. Spoilers. The theme of the half was Lady and the Tramp. And I was like, how can I sign up for a 5K and a 10K and not do the half? Like, this is this is madness. If I'm going, like, I have to do the Lady and the Tramp race because, like, I need a lady medal. Like, it's just in my blood.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, like, crazy me says, okay, I've never done a half, but sure, we're signing up for all of them and we're just doing it. And that was in February. And then, 4 or 5 months later, we're watching Worlds and they announced dates and we're sitting on the couch at Dan's house with Dan and Kylie and the whole team. And I pull up my phone when they give us the date of Milwaukee. And I said, are you kidding me? They're like, what? I go, that's RunDisney. And I've already signed up in February. And it's a lot harder to get out of this one when I've signed up for all 3 and bought a bunch of accessories and things already and like been training for it. So yeah, that happened.
When you realized it was going to be overlapping, was that what kind of pushed you to do the DLC Bologna?
No, I was doing DLC Bologna either way.
Okay.
I mean, it certainly helped knowing that I still at least like had a DLC under my belt, and instead of like 1 in 3 chances, I'm getting 1 in 4 or 2 in 6 or like whatever way we want to look at it. Like, I knew I wanted to go to Italy if I could get a ticket, and my work schedule is really flexible, and I'm very lucky because I've been there for over 7 years that I have accrued a lot of trust and am able to take international vacations with enough preparation. So given we got the dates back in the summer and that trip wasn't going to be until October, I was able to request the time off and kind of make that work. So very grateful that I was able to do that.
Was it, I think the one question that I've been curious to talk to you about, was it hard in Europe doing a DLC with like language barrier, or did it end up being pretty easy?
For the most part, it was easy. I definitely say that. So for those of you who don't know, Ben and I also went to Stockholm for a CCQ the week before. Because we were going to be in Europe for the week anyway, we decided that it made sense. It also gave us an opportunity to kind of play abroad so that like the first time we're playing internationally isn't in a DLC, because I get nervous when I do new things. And to your point, like language barriers, there could be all these other factors that like you take for granted when you're playing in the US.
Absolutely.
So like Stockholm, everyone speaks English. So like that was like no brainer. Everything was great. When we got to the DLC, most of my opponents did speak English, so like it wasn't a problem. I had one opponent who English definitely wasn't their first language. They were playing Amber.
I love this comment. New things are scary. I agree. And I love that you admitted, like, when I do something new, I get nervous.
Like, I don't know. How do I know someone's not just going to call a judge on me because I don't speak the same language as them? Like, how do I know they're not just going to point things out? And I don't know. It made it better for me. And also, like, I adjusted better to the time zone that way because we were already in Europe for a week before the DLC. But I had one opponent who didn't speak great English. And so they shifted Rhino on me. I don't remember if they were on the play or the draw. It's kind of irrelevant to the story. They play 1-drop Rhino. They shift. They start questing. I have a 0-3 Lady Decisive Dog down on turn 1. Like turn 2, I play double 1-drop because like that's what the deck does, because I was playing Amber Emerald Dogs. And turn 3, I play like 1-drop, like the 1/2 1-drop Lady, and then the baby Tramp. And I like show my opponent that like, okay, I've played the 1-drop, which means that my 0-3 gets +1. Then I play a Tramp, which means my 0-3 gets +1. And then I've played Tramp and buffed +3 or 4, which means therefore this is greater than 5 and I can challenge you right now. But English wasn't their first language, and they didn't play against that deck a lot. So like they're sitting there just very confused.
They're like, wait, how did you no,
right. Sticks. And like it was no knock on them. They spoke Spanish predominantly. So like I kind of looked at them and I'm like, well, Dos plus Trace is Cinco. Cinco kills Rhino. And like I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. Like, my intention was very literally, this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what my cards do. And like a judge came by and saw us having this correspondence, and he goes, "Oh, do you guys need translation? Like, I can pull up my app and show you." And the guy goes, "No, no, no, like, we're good." And he understood, but it was just like, that was probably the most awkward moment of the day, just because it wasn't even the language as much as he didn't know the cards. So it's like the card plus the like somewhat barrier, just
barrier. Yeah. No, that's definitely fair. And I feel like I would do that and also be sitting there cursing the American education system for failing me, because I definitely took Spanish for 8-9 years.
Right.
I can count, and that's about it.
but that's my point, is like, I can't have a full conversation with you, and I don't expect you to have a full conversation with me. But I can literally tell you these numbers equal 5, and 5 is the magic number to banish a rhino.
Absolutely.
That
happens. Yeah, that's
but no,
that's
like, for the most part, I'd say a lot of people either spoke English or were understanding of it, and like, there were bilingual judges around, so if you did need something, you could call a judge. And like, I watched somebody, literally the judge had a full conversation, translated it, and then told the other person in a different language.
Okay. That's really cool.
That did happen.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like, it is really cool at an event like that we don't see in America, because most people here speak English. So it's pretty standard that everybody at the event is speaking English, versus being at an event where you get this true melting pot of all these different languages and get to see how the game is being played across the world in like a much more tangible way. Feels like it would be a really cool experience.
It was really cool, and like, there weren't that many Americans. So it was funny, like, in between rounds, like, we would all always just end up congregating together, kind of like how like you always find like the Incredibles and the Texas crew, and like I would always find TFM, and like, granted, there was 6 or 7 of us there anyway. But like, we were hanging out with World Class Cars, we were hanging out with the Florida guys, like anyone who we knew we were hanging out with, because it was just like our own little melting pot in a way.
That's awesome. Oh, that's interesting. Quest and lore were the same. Oh, yeah.
Dick Burns was telling us a lot about this, since he had played in that, like, the first Japanese one, and he had said that obviously there are certain things that were not the same, but there was a lot that was, and so people were able to easily converse with him despite not being able to speak the language.
Yeah. So you took dogs,
I did.
And you did pretty well. You made day 2. You ended 79th place, right?
Correct.
So that puts your record at, what was it?
So I was 9-3, tied with that like top 64 record, and it was like 60 or like 30 something through like 100 something. We're all in that same threshold.
Same bracket. Okay, that's very cool. So you sort of felt the pain that a lot of the people in Milwaukee felt, which was they made day 2. They did okay, but not okay enough, and you didn't get the Simba, right?
So we didn't get Simba. They announced.
I always mess up and keep confusing it with Simba and Mufasa, which is really bad. I should know what the promo is. That's why I said it so hesitantly.
Yeah. So it was interesting because they basically made an announcement, and they're like, "Hey, like, we have the standings. The list is on the back wall." Because Hub was not great for us in Italy. And they said, like, if you're top 32, report to this corner because we have to do your pictures and your deck checks. If you're 33 through 64, like, come to Info Hub, redeem your prize. And if you're greater than 64, have a great day. Like, very literally blunt.
Bye-bye.
And so I go over, I see that I had a strong suspicion that my breakers weren't going to get me there. My breakers were only like 2% off, which is kind of crazy because it shows how much flexibility there is. But I'm standing there with like DKP, with J-Bomb. There's a group of us, and we're all in the same spot. Like they both also were at 9.3, a little bit like past me at like 80, 90 something. And DKP goes, no, they're going to match us. And I go, what? He goes, I asked somebody, they told me they're going to match us. And we're like, okay, if you say so. Like somebody else told us otherwise, because we don't really know what's going on.
Right.
So like I follow him and a group, there's like 4 or 5 of us, and we walk over to a judge, and a judge goes, well, I don't think we have extra cards to give out. So you're probably not going to get it, but stay tuned. And like an hour later or sometime later, they make an announcement over the loudspeaker and basically said, if you matched the 9.3 record, we're going to give you tickets.
Okay.
So I ended up getting, so in Italy, day 2 was 1,000 tickets. And then they gave us an additional 2,000, which meant that for going 9 and 3, I essentially got 3,000 tickets plus my entry tickets, which was just about enough to get a playmat, because a playmat came in at 3,200 tickets, and like you're sitting at 3,160 with your tickets plus your entry. So like, great, that's what you could get. Man, now I know
that value feels way better than Milwaukee.
Well, it's really interesting when you think about it, right? Because like, then the ticket scale is different. Then like Dick Burns and other people went 9.3, got nothing, which feels awful. And it's just like, your tickets cost more, but you also got more, but like not really. Yeah. So the whole thing was just weird.
I'm very interested. Obviously, we haven't really heard anything about an update to that structure for the US. And I really hope it changes. I mean, it doesn't change me wanting to go to Richmond, that's for sure. But it definitely changes how I want to recommend if this is like your first big competitive event. I almost want to recommend maybe not playing in the main event and doing an attendee badge. If like, depending on what is important for you out of the event, because it definitely does not feel great if you are someone who is more of a collector and goes to play in the main event, feels like they're, you know, relatively prepared, have a meta deck, have put time in with that deck, and then, you know, get their Mulan, but don't make day 2.
Right.
And struggle with side events because the side event schedule wasn't fantastic.
There's just a lot of stuff going on. And I think it really comes down to like, what's your goal and what's your purpose of going to the event? Like we had locals in our area who said, it's my first DLC. Like I'm going because I want to play. And then we had somebody who had gone to a bunch of DLCs, and he brought either his wife or girlfriend, I don't know what their relationship is, and she had an attendee badge, and she played side events for 2 days straight. So she looped lines and she did all of those things so that they could come home with, or so that they could get tickets to then decide what to do with them while he had his chance to kind of play in the main event. And so like, that's how they decided to go about it. That's not to say that's what like everyone's significant other should do, but their significant other does not play the game very much. Like they don't come to set champs, they don't come to locals. They very literally were a body for the event, and like they would admit that. That's why I'm okay to say that. So that's not to say that's for everybody, but it's also a means, if you're a collector, to help you get the stuff you're looking.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like there are definitely ways. It's just some of them don't feel great. Like I have not convinced Cameron that he should just come and be that person who waits in line for me. I don't know how well that will go over. He's watching now. He's probably going to comment soon and be like, excuse you? You want me to sit in lines? I did not volunteer for this.
Well, it's like, even when, like, I saw Bree and Brian, I think his name's Brian, I could be wrong, in Denver, and like Bree didn't play.
Bree and Joey.
Joey, thank you. I was like, I'm gonna mess this up.
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
But like Joey was playing in the CCQ, and Bree was watching the baby and didn't get to play. And like Bree also loves to play the game. We all know that. But like that was a decision they had to make given the circumstances to like make everything work.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we're on the topic. So I know I sent you an agenda. We're going to skip around on it.
Sure. Seems normal.
We kind of brushed on the topic of like prepping for competitive events as well as like goal setting and like what you want to get out of a competitive event. And both of us, we are looking at these events as competitive players and wanting to do well as a competitive player. So how do you approach, because for us, it's both our first TCG, is setting goals that feel like you're pushing yourself, but also aren't maybe unattainable. not unattainable.
Dan's gonna crack up if he's watching, because this is something we talk about like all the time. And
I like this. I think it's really important.
No, it is. It's a very healthy discussion and like something you need to do. So I think there's two things. Like everyone wants to win, right? But the question is, what's the level of winning that you're satisfied? And that's like, that needs to be your benchmark. And then you can have like your stretch goal. So for example, like I went into Bologna saying my goal is to day 2. I've never day 2'd a DLC. Now, secretly, what I really wanted to do was get an invite and top 32. But like, I can't say to myself, every event I go to, I'm going to top 32, because like, it's really hard to top 32. You can be almost perfect and still not get there. Like we had 4 people, I think it was 4 people at that record who didn't get there. So like, there's a lot of things out of your control that even if you are there, you're not.
Right.
So I think like the first kind of goal or question to yourself is like, what do you want to get? So like my goal was hit day 2. And so I said to myself, okay, to hit day 2, I need to get 6 wins. So what deck do I feel confident on that puts me in the position to get 6 wins? And kind of just like started there. And that's where I went from. Oh boy.
You knew you'd be brought up eventually.
Troublemaker over there.
So yeah, 6 wins. Like you looked at like what deck.
Like what deck am I comfortable playing on? And there were multiple answers to that. It was Amber Emerald. It was Amethyst Steel. It was maybe Amber Steel, but probably Amethyst Steel or Amber Emerald. And then it was a question of like, okay, well, if I like both of these decks and I'm confident on both of these decks, how do I think they perform? And like, what do I think I'm going to play against? And being in Stockholm the week before, we saw a lot of like Sapphire Amethyst or Blurple. And so I said to myself, okay, well, of those 2 decks, like, what am I more comfortable on playing into that matchup? And like, how do I think I'm going to have the most success? Or from the other side, like, what do I feel most comfortable taking that when I sit down, I don't say, oh, I just lose the game on the spot. Like I still have a chance.
Yep.
And so kind of like thinking about it from both sides is the way I went about deciding what to play.
Yeah. So for DLC Milwaukee, my goal was to day 2. I think I set my initial goal as I for sure want a Mulan.
Yes.
My stretch goal was day 2. I got my Mulan. I didn't get day 2. But I think the piece of my goal that I still felt like I was successful in Milwaukee was there was nothing that I did in any of my games that I felt like I lost the game. It was maybe it wasn't the best matchup. Maybe I played well, but the cards, like the deck was not giving me the cards I needed. And that's like a big piece for me that I try to like, even if I don't hit a goal that I set, I then take a step back and go, well, why didn't I hit that goal? Is it because I made mistakes? I didn't prep well enough? Or is it because there were a lot of things outside of my control?
Right.
And I think in TCGs, that's like very important because there's so much luck involved.
Yes. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. It takes both to go far.
Yes.
But something that's like always very important, I think, when you're looking back is, like you said, what did I do that allowed me to hit this? Or if I didn't, why did I not hit it?
Yep.
And what can I do different next time to help me be better or to help improve?
Yeah. And I think the other piece for me when I was deciding what deck to play for the DLC in Milwaukee, obviously that's a really big decision. There's a lot of factors. It's a lot of, have you paid attention to the meta? What do you think the meta call is going to be? And I've floated around decks this set because my poor Steel Song is gone. Oh God.
R.I.P.
And so I was between Blurple and Amethyst Steel, and my concern was that if I played Blurple, every single match that day was going to be Blurple.
Right.
And the mirror just sounded like I would not have fun playing in the mirror for 8 rounds. Because sometimes that is a piece of it. You're going to be playing for a lot of hours at these events. And you also need to still enjoy what you're playing and have fun playing it. So while you should take something that has a good chance of winning, I also recommend taking what you enjoy playing. I tried aggro so many times. I tried that Amber Steel list and multiple variations of it. I hated playing it.
Yeah.
I wanted to like it so bad because it is good. It does well right now in the meta for Milwaukee. So I was really trying to like it, and I was just like, nope, this wouldn't be fun for 8 rounds. So I went with Amethyst Steel and I did enjoy every match I had, which I think is also makes for a successful day.
It does. I mean, obviously, like you said, coming from the competitive side, we're there to perform, to do well, but it is still a social event. It is still something we should be having fun while we're there.
Yes.
The first Infinity event of the season that I played in, I brought Ruby Sapphire. And after the event, people were like, you played Ruby Sapphire? And I said, well, I thought it had a good shot into the field and I wanted to set myself up well. They said, well, did you have fun? And I was like, honestly, no.
No.
And then fast forward 1 weekend later, I played another Infinity event and I brought dogs and Rapunzel. And I had a blast and I was smiling the entire day. So
that sounds just much more enjoyable.
Yes. So there's a lot of factors and a lot of things to think about. And yes, you want to do well. And yes, it's important to bring a deck that you think is well suited. But if there's multiple decks that are well suited, think about the other factors too.
Yeah. When you prep for a competitive event, how do you prep? Obviously we're both on teams, so we're really lucky because we have a network of people to play test with. But is there anything special that you think really helps you when you're prepping for a larger event?
Sometimes either tag teaming or open hands, I think can go a really long way, especially if you're trying to kind of learn a specific matchup or just try and optimize what you're doing instead of just kind of playing it and saying, okay, well, I won and here's why I won. Take a picture of your hand if you're not in a place where you can literally play with other people and say, what would you do in this situation? Or if you're on a webcam, maybe you can kind of broadcast the game and somebody else can watch what you're doing. But being able to sometimes kind of have those discussions in the moment of, okay, well, we have line A and that's what will happen if we do line A, and here's line B, and this is what we think will happen if we do line B, gives you kind of the soundboard or somebody else's perspective to understand why it's either the right decision or the wrong decision.
I love doing that. I feel like that is one of the best ways for me to get better at playing a deck. Walking through that. The other thing that I do is I will play my worst matchup.
Yes.
So like I'll take that deck and have somebody play my deck because I want to be able to predict what that person is going to play and understand why they would play it. Because for me, that makes me feel a lot more prepared into those matchups.
It gives you the perspective when you're then on the other side of it to kind of think through what might my opponent have in their hand and what play are they going to make. So it's definitely a good learning exercise to play the opposite side.
Do you enjoy, like, I get to a point where like I'll play, I always practice on the draw. I will never practice on the play because I essentially want all of my practice matchups to kind of put me in the worst position possible. Because usually by the time I'm prepping for an event, I've already played the deck a decent amount that I've seen how it, like, what I want my lines to be in the perfect world. I now want to figure out the not perfect world.
Yes, I think that's very accurate. There's definitely something to be said of, okay, what's my worst matchup and am I on the draw? And that's not to say that you can't win on the draw, but you want to put yourself sometimes in a position of I'm on hard mode. And how do I win on hard mode, or how do I kind of navigate out of that? So
yeah,
it definitely goes a long way when you can do that.
Because I think then when you're not on hard mode, it feels better. Like your brain doesn't have to think through your turns as hard. And I think, I know I've kind of harped on the fact that the DLC is 8 rounds, but larger tournaments are always going to be that like 6, 7, 8+ rounds. And then you have top cut. And mentally that is draining. So you want to do everything in your power to prep beforehand and make sure that you can kind of lessen that like mental stress throughout the day. Because there's going to be some, there's just no way to take it all away. And if you can prep and get in a good mindset and feel comfortable and confident in your matchups, I feel like that makes the day significantly better.
It definitely does. And also, I think something about being in big events is if you lose or you do make a mistake, you have to shake it. Like you're gonna doom yourself and you're gonna put yourself in such a bad spot if you just focus on the bad moment. And it's really, really hard to do that. So I'm not sitting here saying it's easy to do, because it's not.
And I think that's a great like transition into like, you've prepped, you've set your goals, day of, something goes wrong, because inevitably you will make a mistake. We're not perfect, no one is, so it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
And I think the second that I have, like, this isn't to say that I shake off every mistake I make perfectly, but there was definitely a shift from when I started playing competitive, like deciding to play competitively and realizing mindset is a huge component of success.
Yes.
And figuring out how to shake those misplays off or loss off. It was night and day how I did in the tournament.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I was in Atlanta last year and it was the first DLC ever. It was my first tournament with over 50 people in the room. Like I definitely psyched myself out and was like, this is scary and this is overwhelming and I don't know if I can do this, which wasn't necessarily true, but I was just in a very different like headspot at the time. And I had to eventually remind myself, like in Chicago and other events, that I'm sitting at a table, I'm playing against one person. There's just a lot of us doing the same thing. And when you think about it that way, it's just like when you're sitting at locals or you're sitting at Bree's house playing games or wherever it is that like you get to do your testing. And like similarly, like it sucks when you misplay or you lose. Like I was in Bologna, I was 7-1, and I sit down for round 9 and I'm on the draw, and my opponent inks Sapphire and passes. And I think to myself, I'm probably playing against, oh no, sorry. He inked and then played Rafiki. I'm like, okay, I'm playing against Blurple. This is potentially very good for me. This is a favorable matchup. I play out the games and I end up losing at 17 and 18. It felt horrible.
Like, yeah.
I'm now X2. I need to keep winning. I cannot lose. And like that's okay. And I kept playing, and like I win 2 rounds in a row. I was on stream. I won. I sit down round 11 and I pair into an Amethyst Steel. That opponent he ends up getting 4th place in the DLC. Like he did very well.
It feels better when the person you lose to
But like that's the reason I bring it up though is that opponent sits down and like looks very frazzled. He then proceeds to tell me that he was 8-0 and then lost 2 rounds in a row.
Oh.
So like he is super shaken up and like very distraught. Ink Steel plays Amethyst. And then like I ink Amber, play Emerald. And so like all of a sudden you can see the tone in his face. Just like he takes a breath. And like I sit here saying, I'm just playing my cards and whatever happens, happens. And like it was a bad matchup and it felt bad. But then like I went into round 12 and I said, if I win round 12, I'm 9-3 and that's the best I can do. So like, yeah, it feels bad. I literally just got knocked out of my chance to like hit that stretch goal. But I also have an opportunity to maybe get top 64 or get top what ends up being 79th. So perspective is everything is moral of the story.
No, that's really true. I feel like we've given everyone all of our advice for the day. Should we hit some news topics and what we've seen happen? Mainly because you guys don't want to hear us repeat ourselves a few more times. We only are so wise. Have you been able to get your hands on the new Costco set?
So they haven't made it to our Costco's yet.
Okay, that's fair.
I have been told when I went to Costco last week that they haven't made it to the depot and they are on order and they should eventually show up. And I know they're on the
West Coast,
and I know they're on the East Coast, but somewhere in the middle, they haven't arrived yet. So when they do show up, I will go to our Costco and hopefully pick 2 up because I know that there's a limit on them. But I'm excited because they look really cool.
From my area in Dallas-Fort Worth, I know that they have not made it there either. I feel like somebody in the Discord always goes and checks like every other day. But I can confirm that 2 were purchased the other night here in Seattle because Costco is headquartered in Seattle.
Yes.
So I was able to pick up some. I pulled hot garbage, but I did pull 4 Ariel Spectacular Singer, which
nice
in my mind says I just need to play Steel Song again. So ready for the Infinity DLC.
Yes.
But the binder is really nice and the promo looks good. I realized I should have brought it out so I could show it.
I was gonna say, are you not gonna show it off?
No, because it's in the back and I do not want to disturb the baby who is already asleep.
Valid and understandable. I've heard that the cards are cool looking and people seem excited for them. So
the one thing that I will call out is the promos definitely still are similar to the Elsa promos in the sense that they're pringled pretty bad. And they are also, it is the card just stuck in the plastic. There is not like, the card is not protected at all. Luckily, they didn't seem to be like bounced around too bad. So I think you're safe. But for anyone who is a collector or trying to grade them, I don't know how well they will grade.
Beware.
What else has happened? We have a new set of cards coming out on Friday. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited.
going to a local event here. Enchanted Kim was kind enough to help me find an event. So I'm going to, it's Cole Street Gaming Vault. Nice. It's just south of Seattle. So gonna go and see everybody out here on the West Coast. So I'm very excited for that.
Sealed or draft?
It's a sealed.
Ooh, exciting.
Like draft. I don't want to share my cards. They're all mine.
I don't want to share. On Friday, one of our locals is doing Trove Sealed. So you basically you pay $55, you get a Trove, you get to build with like the packs that come in the Trove, and then it's pack per win. So like very reasonable.
This one is a Trove sealed as well, which is the first time I've ever done that. Most of our locals only do like your standard sealed.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited, and apparently there is food always at the like events.
Kim has told me this and how the stores have like pizza parties and like dessert, and it's like a whole thing.
They go all out. I'm a little sad that I didn't pay attention before I left because it is apparently like steampunk themed. So I did not bring appropriate clothing to fit the theme, but I'll be there.
Hey, you get to play while you're on pseudo vacation, so that's a
win. Exactly. I know TFM is hosting an event not this week, but next week, right?
Yes, next Friday we're doing Sealed, which I believe you have something there for. Yes, so it's you have your entry, and then you'll get pack with every round, and then like you and your opponent are playing for another pack each round, 3 rounds of Swiss. So that should be a lot of fun.
Which is an insane value as well.
It is. So very excited to be there and playing, and I really like doing sealed, and a lot of times I don't get to on release weekend. Like last release, I was literally in Disney for Destination D23, which was awesome in its own ways. But I didn't get to do like
a struggle
LGS
and a terrible life that you lead, being at Disney all the time.
Twist my arm. But no, it was different, right? Like I was at Disney, I got to do Disney Springs and World of Disney and like Disney release, but I didn't get to go to an LGS, and I didn't get to really open a lot of cards. So I'm excited to play sealed and open things. Good one.
And then the next day.
Yes, on Saturday, there is a 3K event going on. Prizing scales based on how many people are there, normal Swiss cut, and then top 8 or top whatever based on kind of how big the event is. It'll be my first time getting to kind of play like constructed event for the set. So I'm super excited because looking at the cards in this set, there's a lot of really cool things coming out. Unlike Fabled, which was like a big reprint set, this is mostly new cards. So I think there's a lot of room for innovation and a lot of room for people to kind of have fun with it.
I am excited. What card are you most excited for in this set?
I really
let Ben. I will not let Ben answer this question.
Well, he's downstairs, probably watching. But he probably can't get up here quick enough. I'm really excited for Demona. I love Amethyst, as most of you know. I think that she's really powerful and has like, first of all, she's stats, like she's a beefy card. But she also has like the exert effect. She has the ability that like if you have less than 3 cards, you get to draw to kind of refill. And then if you're exerting, you likely get to kind of challenge and remove threats from your opponent. So I'm excited to see kind of where she shakes out.
I am also excited for the Cinderella. I think that card is gorgeous. I would like to pull the Enchanted. But I haven't decided. So this has been a big trend of mine. I've been floating around with decks since rotations.
Right.
I love Amethyst Steel. It was the first deck that I started to play with competitively before I even started playing Steel Song. So definitely have floated back to it a lot. And it feels good still. And I'm excited to see some of the new cards and play with those new cards in the build. But I also because it feels like almost like a new game since rotation, I've really enjoyed trying out the other decks that I wouldn't necessarily have thought to play.
Right.
So I will probably do the same thing and float around. We also have a good amount of time before some bigger events pop up. CCQs as well as DLC Richmond. So I feel like I have a good amount of time to be able to play around and figure out what I like most.
Yeah, I think that this set especially is going to bring out a lot of like shifting decks, and not shifting like I play shift characters, but I play a different strategy than I previously played. And it's probably healthy for the game if it shakes up a bit, and like there's learning curve with that, and that's okay. And to your point, sometimes we have to play a deck just to understand how our opponent is going to play that deck as well.
Absolutely.
So especially early in the set, testing 4, 5, 6 different decks is not a bad thing.
And I also, because I am playing Lorcana as like my first competitive TCG, I just enjoy exploring the game as well because, well, yes, I'm playing to win. I also am playing because I enjoy the game. Like that was what drove me to want to play competitively. So I enjoy getting to try out. You will frequently hear me talk about the silly decks I play. My husband does not like to play competitively.
Your puppies.
Yeah, I want a puppy deck. One day will have. I have the sleeves saved to have 101 puppies and have all 99 of them in my deck.
I know it.
The worst. They're so mean to you.
It just is. I've embraced it.
You've embraced it.
It just
I can't wait until someone and this is my audience ask someone who's creative and more artistic than I, please remake the art with Melissa on it.
Oh, that's definitely a Lorcana villain task. Like no questions asked. Like I guarantee you that he'll have it by the morning if I asked him. He's probably sleeping, but
I would that would be truly embracing it would be getting some proxies made with your face instead. And I would
you mean you didn't see the ones that TFM Kylie and TFM Dan were sketching?
I did. They might need to step up their drawing game a little.
They had fun.
Those are awesome. I love that is one of my favorite parts of new sets, and when you start play testing them is the silly proxies that get created. For a while when Fabled came out, the proxy Dumbos that came out at League, because they were just so hard to find and so expensive. And because all of our leagues in the DFW area are pretty competitive, it feels bad if someone's like missing a card like Dumbo where it's like $50, $60 at the start. Most of us are all comfortable with people playing with proxies. Now,
it's like it's not a tournament, right? Like
exactly,
you're playing in your weekly league, and that's not to say like we're encouraging it. But if it's week 1 of the meta and you haven't, like, you might have placed a TCG order and it literally didn't arrive yet. That shouldn't 100%. Stop you from playing in locals when you're just testing to understand how you're going to perform in whatever event you have coming up.
Yeah. So it was some of the drawing skills that I got to witness were pretty priceless.
I believe it.
Because like there's a guy we play locals with and he's a cop. So no artistic, like definitely not an artist. I thought his son drew his proxy and it was him.
That's awesome.
Are you planning to go see Zootopia 2 to get the promo from it?
Ben and I were literally just talking about that earlier today. First of all, I want to see Zootopia 2 because I actually like Zootopia. But second of all, the fact that there is a alternative promo with this cool new symbol, which is also news, it's not just a promo symbol. It's like a
No,
little
it's
movie,
little
relic.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Super cool.
it's super cute.
And like I'm very lucky that we have a Cinemark theater very close to us, which makes it easier to be able to go anyway. Definitely makes me excited to hopefully get my hands on a promo.
So I don't know if I would like to go see Zootopia 2. I'm hoping that promos are still available by the time I can go see it. However, I kind of expect them to be, but in the past, I know sometimes the movie theater employees, as you would expect, are high school kids. And
I have
they say,
no idea what's going on.
You want to take this away from me so I don't have to hand it to people? They're like, cool, take it. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen too quickly. But the last time it was kind of nice when it did happen, because it was one of my teammates was able to get us all the Moana promos, and then had like a friend who didn't have like anywhere near him to get it, and was able to send some out to him and his daughter. And his daughter was like so excited because Moana is her favorite.
It's so interesting, right? Because obviously there's some partnership with Cinemark, which is why they pick Cinemark. But then when you look on a map, they are not everywhere in the same way that like an AMC is. And so
yes,
like I'm very grateful because everywhere I've lived, I've had a Cinemark. So I've always like I can go. But I feel for the people who cannot, because I've been in those situations before as well.
Yes. I'm very lucky. We have one, I think it's maybe 10 minutes from the house.
Yeah.
So we're
closer than me.
I'm trying to see. Oh, this is kind of sad news that I'm not happy about. And I feel like you're probably not happy about it because I know you're a pin collector.
Oh, I'm furious if you talk about what I think you're about to talk about.
We're losing pins after we get through the ink colors.
Yeah, that is not great for like a lot of reasons. First of all, when the pins came out, like, so for those of you who don't know, I collected Disney pins before I played Disney Lorcana, because it was a means to have Disney items when I wasn't at Disney, and it has a social aspect with like trading and talking to other people. So like when I found out there were pins in Disney Lorcana, I was very excited because I felt like it was bridging like all the things I loved together. When I went to locals in Massachusetts before we moved to Pennsylvania, we had a group of people who exclusively went to locals so that they could earn the pins and the other items.
That's insane. And I love that also.
And so like you have this item that's part of locals, and like it's almost attracting a whole different audience to attend.
Sorry, I need to be careful about taking a sip of my drink as I read chat, because this one made me laugh because
the stickers. Oh my God, I know.
I love a good sticker. Don't get me wrong, but a sticker does not replace a pin. And to your point, 300 of the same sticker is
what are you going to do with 300 Ariel stickers?
All of the leagues, they don't even know what to do with them because
right. And you're in a very populated area.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
So like they give them out constantly because yes, like who needs 50 stickers? Because they will literally hand out stacks of them, because I mean, just logistically, you think about how long League is on average, particularly because we're in a pretty populated area and a pretty populated area of a lot of TCG stores. We average somewhere between 8 to 15 people at most of our leagues.
Which is awesome.
It is. It's great. But then you think of the fact that there are 300 stickers of the same sticker.
Right. What do
you can't give you have to give people stacks of stickers.
But like it's even like, yes, it sucks. We're only getting stickers. But what about the people who were going to the LGS each week so that they had their chance to earn a pin? What's their incentive to support the store? Like, we need our LGSs to exist so that set champs can happen, so that we can get product each set, so that, like, while you're visiting your sister, you have a means to still play Lorcana.
Exactly.
Which is awesome. But
it's great. I love the fact
right.
that I can go to anywhere. I can go visit my parents in Tampa, and there's a local game store. I can come to Washington. There's local game stores that I can play at. But to your point, if we go, like, if there's nothing there for like a reason to go to League, if it makes more sense to start playing at your kitchen table, if it makes more sense to play with your team once a week, what happened? Like, I want to support, like, I make a point to buy cards from my local store, or for example, while I'm out in Washington, to buy from the local store because I want to support that store. Is it the most economical way to buy cards usually? No. Like, sometimes there's a better deal online, like, or buying singles is better. But I want to support the store. Like, I, before playing Lorcana, was a big board game person and still am, but Lorcana takes up a lot more time.
Understandable.
So I haven't played as many board games or purchased as many board games, but board games are way cheaper to buy from Amazon or Target. And Target and Amazon both have great supplies of newer games now because board games have become more popular in recent years. But I buy my board games from the same LGS that when I moved to Texas from Chicago was super welcoming and was like my little community center.
Exactly.
When I had no friends, and then made a bunch of friends from going to that store. So it really, I think, is a bigger problem that they're cutting like saying they're cutting prize support will sound extreme to some people, but I think it is. I think it's cutting prize support for League, for stores.
So you're cutting prize support and you're removing the families or the casual players or the people who don't want to compete. Like, I know you live, like we said, in a very TCG heavy area where your locals probably are a lot of competitive players. But I also know that a lot of competitive players don't necessarily go to locals, whether it's because of a time commitment or it's not the best use of their time. And I don't want that to come off sounding rude, but some people would prefer, if you're driving 30 minutes to your LGS and then you're playing in a 3-round tournament, call it 4 hours all said and done. By the time you're home, you've played 9 games of Lorcana max if you play 3 best of 3s.
Yep.
How many games could you play at your kitchen table in 4 hours?
A whole lot more.
So, like, that's not to say and that's not to say I don't want to support my LGS. Like, I support my LGS every week. Like, I played in a tournament last weekend with a stale meta because I wasn't not going to support my LGS. But we're putting people in these positions where, like, your competitive player doesn't care about the pins, that they're not going to locals anyway. Somebody in chat, I think, said that they had a group of 5 or 6 people each week who are coming for these pins. Are those people still going to show up to your store? And if they don't, what happens to you who does go to the store each week? Does your 12-person league become 6 and then you can't run a tournament?
Yep. And, like, this is also a really great point of some stores are, one, not getting enough product to be able to support pack per round win. And also, some may not be able to afford it because they're running on such small margins and in such a small area that they really only get a small crowd for the store as a whole, not just for Lorcana. So I can understand why, prize support that the store is sponsoring is hard to come by. So they really depend on these OP kits for pricing.
And, like, the cards are
that I just like the pins.
Right, like, the cards are cool that you can get, but you can show off your pins. You can put them on a board. You can put them in a book. You can put them on a backpack. Like, you can trade them at the park. I have a whole group of like a pin community who doesn't play Lorcana, who collects Lorcana pins because they're Disney characters.
Absolutely.
Because there's an Aurora and there's an Ariel. Like all of a sudden they just disappear. I don't know. It feels bad.
We got raided by the ICL.
ICL raided. Like there's so many people who collect them or show them off, and I am happy to say that they are at least.
That is what we are talking about.
Like I am very happy to hear that they are keeping the ink pins through the end. Like
yes, so at least you can collect.
We are getting that.
Your full.
We're gonna have all of our logos and we're gonna have all of our banners, and that's great. But like, there's so many characters that are never gonna see the light of day, and that feels bad.
It's so sad. Because also part of me is like, would we really have picked some of the characters that got picked as the pins if we knew it was going to end so quickly? Because I have questions on who picked those pins then.
And why some characters get like, yeah.
For everyone who's joined, welcome. Because some of you might not follow our channel, we're Enchanted Chatter. Melissa's on this week as our guest. Typically, my co-host Bree is here, but she is on anti-duties this week. I'm also not at home. I am in the state of Washington on anti-duties as well. And for anyone new, I am also having a giveaway for my birthday that was this past weekend. If you would like to go to our Instagram, you can enter for a chance to win a Mulan card.
Everyone should enter and give Enchanted Chatter more follows. They're great.
I appreciate the hype. So we were just discussing the pin controversy, which I feel like pretty much everybody is on the same page. That it's sad that we're losing pins, and I think it's just going to negatively affect local game stores, which is not what we want to see happen.
Exactly.
We talked reactions. We talked about upcoming events. I'm going through my list of things that we might have forgotten about.
Invitational when?
I don't know. We should have an announcement soon. Technically, this is our offset. We do every other set. So don't worry. Plans are happening because we think for the next one, we may have outgrown the space that we're currently in. So it might be bigger and better. And everybody should come to Texas.
I mean, people do enjoy the Diet Coke Invitational. We've heard nothing but good things.
Our plan is still even like our goal is even as it grows and we do have to like add in some more expenses to truly stick with the Diet Coke as an entry fee. Awesome. Because I think that's like the heart of it. And we're working through ways.
I remember hearing about the first one, and it was like before we were like closer friends. And I'm like, what is this event? And like, who are these crazy people? And then obviously we became friends, and all of it just clicked and made so much more sense.
I was about to say, and now it all makes sense because, you know, who are these crazy people that I now know really well? Yep, that's accurate.
That checks out.
And it's very funny because we were so excited on The Incredibles when you guys did like
on the video
a video of basically like events that are happening because we have no DLCs or large events. So you were looking at all the local events and you found it and you're like, what? I don't know if this is real or not, but we're going to share it.
We were so confused. We're like, what is this event? But like, this also sounds cool. And then like Kyle told us it was local to him. And we're like, okay, well, if Kyle says it's real, it must be real. Mm-hmm. And then obviously we met the whole gang and then everything makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think that's like the best part of the DFW area. We have a lot of really competitive people, but we also have a good community that wants to play and enjoys playing. Yeah. So it makes for some of these like goofy community events that end up being like a really cool and engaging way to play the game that isn't just like a throwaway tournament. It really is like a real meta tournament. Like we're not out here playing weird
decks. Still legit. Like there's still
yeah
stuff on the line.
Mm-hmm. And that was like the big thing because none of the local stores were hosting events that the pricing felt worth it. So that was what drove it. So we wanted it to be worth it for the ultra competitive players who are looking for that, like, Enchanted or which they can keep the Enchanted or sell it so it has some value. But then also for somebody who maybe is afraid to play in a big tournament, it gives them that opportunity to play in a big tournament that's a little bit more friendly of an environment, and they still get pricing because we do pack per win. So you come out net positive, really, either end of the spectrum. Well, did I forget any news or anything that I said we were going to talk about?
I don't think so.
Oh, I guess we did get a new set of, like a new rule document on Halloween.
That is true.
I don't think anything from what I've looked at so far, like nothing's drastically been altered. It's just essentially accounting for the new keywords and effects that are in Whispers.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of clarifications with like boost mechanic coming into the meta, just making sure that people kind of understood if you Hades a boosted card, like the whole kind of pile goes with it. And if something's face down, you can't look at it.
That feels real dangerous.
It's a thing though.
Right.
So, and all good clarifications and good updates to have, it seems.
Yeah. But I think that's our last update. Where can people find you?
I am on X and Instagram. I think you have the links, or we can link them below.
I do. I have the link tree in the show notes.
Perfect. Yes. So on all the socials, I'm around. In Discord, you can always DM me, and I'm always hanging out.
Accurate. We're both always hanging out, and hopefully next week we all have a good week, and good luck and get DLC Richmond tickets. And hopefully that means that we are both going to day 2 in Richmond together, because that's for sure my goal for Richmond.
See, setting goals early. That means you have something to work towards.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate everybody for joining tonight, and everybody who rated. I appreciate you jumping in towards the end. Good
luck to everyone opening cards in less than 48 hours.
Yes. Hopefully everybody opens lots of Enchanteds. And all the legendaries that you are looking for. So, well, I appreciate everybody. If you haven't already followed Enchanted Chatter on all of the places, feel free. Please do. We would love it. And I will talk to everybody next week. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me on.